video is intended to be a starter video for jamming, improvising on guitar. So we're going to start with a very simple little chord riff to jam over that once you have it, you'll use it as your backing track. So basically you just start with the E major chord. And you take that shape, you move it up 1, 2 frets, and then you stretch your index finger back. So basically you're on frets 4 and 2, and it should sound like this. So again, you start on E major. Now keeping your fingers on the same strings, you slide up, stretch it out so that you're on 4 and 2. And now this stretched out shape, you slide it up 2 more frets so that you're on 6 and 4, and you'll get this. In each case, you're using all 6 strings. And you slide down to 4 and 2, and then back home. And you put it together like this. Now, once you're good at that, you'll want to do a little recording of it and play it for at least 2 or 3 minutes. Or use your DAW to loop it, and then you have a jam track. And there's a reason why I chose that little riff. It will allow you to really explore whatever scale you're working on without running into the roadblocks that happen in an actual song where you're changing chords. So it has a good feel and some good movement to it, but you can basically use the same notes over it the whole time without it just sounding like one single chord. When you're learning a jam, that really helps because you need to learn your scale extremely well to where it's second nature before you're prepared to move on to chord changes and learn how to handle those. All right, so now what we need is our scale. And what I'm going to show you, this is in the E major key. So I'm going to show you what's called the E major pentatonic scale, and this is the sliding version of it. You're going to slide up the neck as you go, and what's really important is to use the same fingering that I'm using, and do not change fingers. You want to train this to muscle memory. Later on you might use alternate fingerings, but right now you really want to learn this fingering. So we're going to pluck the open low E string. Then you're going to take your ring finger, your third finger, place it on the 2nd fret, pluck it on 2, and slide it up to 4. So you got this. And notice how when I pluck 2, I'm almost already in motion. It's almost like I'm not playing 2, I'm just sliding right into 4. Like that. And then, from my ring finger, I'm going to go back to my index finger on 2 of the 5th string. And now I'm going to go to my ring finger, or the 4th fret, at the 5th string. Now I'm going to go to my index finger again on the 4th string, 2nd fret, and then my ring finger on the 4th fret, and slide up. So it's very much a pattern. And the reason we're going index to ring is there's a rule. If you skip a fret, you skip a finger. It's called the 1 finger per fret rule. And the reason we start down here with the 3rd finger on the 2nd fret is because we're sliding into our position that we're headed for. Open, 2 slides to 4 on the ring finger, and then 2, 4, and then 2, 4 slides up to 6. And then 4, 6. So see how we're always walking between index and ring? That's how this works. Watch it and you'll see my index and ring finger are doing all the work. Now, we're going to have to shift our scale, and the reason why, you might have seen people tune their guitar like this. Well, the way the guitar is tuned, every string, when you get to the 5th fret, that'll sound the same as the next string, except when you go from string 3 to string 2, it's down 1 fret. So what that means is the 2nd string is tuned 1 fret lower. Therefore, whatever pattern you're doing, when it crosses over to that 2nd string, you got to shift everything up a fret. So here you go. We're gonna do open, ring finger goes 2 to 4, index on 2, ring on 4, index on 2, ring on 4, slide to 6. Index on 4, ring on 6, and now we're gonna scrunch our hand up to put the index finger on 5, and then our ring goes on 7 and slides up to 9, and then index on 7, and then ring on, where are we? 9. Ring on 9, and then you skip 2 frets to hop up to 12, and that completes the scale. And then once you have that really good, practice that until it's muscle memory and you're always using the correct fingers, and then learn it backwards. Oh, I went down. So you really want to know that whole thing forwards and backwards, and then you'll be ready for the next part. We can start jamming. That's the fun part. And you can use your acoustic guitar. I busted out the electric guitar just for fun. But yeah, we'll start with the major pentatonic. And what you'll notice is it has a real country sound. It'll be a little bit bluesy, but it's definitely going to sound very country or country rock. All right, so let's give it a crack and see what we come up with here. So there's that's a little sample of our, what do you call it? Our major pentatonic. Okay, so now we're gonna go to what we call the E minor pentatonic, which is also the G major pentatonic. So what you're going to do, this is the same pattern, we're just moving it up the neck. So now we're not going to use the open string anymore. Well, we will, but what we want is to start with your index on the 3rd fret, and then your ring finger to slide 5 to 7. And then index, ring, slides up, index, ring, shift the pattern. So that's a G major pentatonic. However, if you're playing over E blues progression, or really any progression in E, and you just throw in the open E string before you get going on that pattern, that makes it an E minor pentatonic. And so now when you place this over the same progression, it is going to sound bluesy. It's gonna have more of that delta drive to it. That's your minor pentatonic. Right? I notice it sounds a lot more bluesy. So now that you've got two versions of the sliding pentatonic scale to jam on, let's get a little exotic. I'm going to give you a more of a fixed scale position. We might work our way up the neck a little, but we'll just start right here with index finger on 6. So this would be used later on in the song. Once the ear has had time to adjust to the song, you know it pretty well. If you start out with this, it'll sound a little too far out. But once you've been in the song for a while, then something like this will sound great. What I'm doing is really, I don't know, I guess you could say it's hybridizing the Dorian mode with just the major mode. So Dorian, Ionian, hybrid. And basically I'm playing with raising and lowering scale degrees 3 and 7. And so it goes like this. You're going to start on the 5th string and you're going to play frets 6, 7, 1. And remember to use the finger per fret rule. 6, 7, 1. Now you go to the 4th string, do the same thing. 6, 7, 1. And you go to the 3rd string, do the same thing. 6, 7, 1. So then you have this. And then, if you want to chase that up to the 2nd string, you're going to shift up to where you have index on 7. And then I like to go 7, 9, 10. That's index ring, pinky. And then on the next string, same thing. On the E string, same thing. 7, 9, 10. I'm going to shift down. Shift up. So notice how on strings 5, 4, and 3, you're using index middle pinky. And then when you shift up here, now it's index ring pinky. And then if you look at where the ring and pinky are, they're on 9 and 10. Well, if you shift your hand to where you have index and middle there, then you can put pinky on 12. And that's kind of a nice way to get up. Nice way to get up there. All right, so just do that until you got muscle memory and you can shift around on it. Oh, and real quick, a fun little lick that you can throw in is just kind of, I don't know if I'd even try and figure out what scale it is because it's probably not, it's just a gesture where you go 11, 12. Across all the strings. And that's kind of a nice jazzy sound, and what that'll do is it's kind of a nice transition out of, you know, you've kind of done this Dorian Ionian hybrid thing. You're starting to get out there, and then if you give it this kind of a thing, then it kind of can just kind of cap. It's like the cherry on top of getting a little jazzy before you come back into something more conventional, like one of your pentatonic scales or something. All right, so now that I've got some, I've gone through each scale and the mode and just kind of practice jamming on each one, I'm just going to see if I could put them all together in one take. And I'm just going to progress through them. So I'll start major pentatonic. And then I'll go minor pentatonic, and then I'll go Dorian from there, and I might shift my Dorian up to a new position here up the neck, and then I got my little jazzy riff. So once I'm that far in, I'll just see what happens and see if I can't paint myself into a corner here. All right. Something like that. All right, so there you have it. And yeah, it's just great to just practice it, jam around on it until you've got it good. And then you can try the major and minor pentatonic on some different songs. But yeah, this little jam here, it allows for all those options. You won't always be able to use all those together. It depends on what's going on with the chord progression. But that's why I chose this little jam, as it allowed us to get all that variety just on one little jam. And then we'll talk about how to use these scales on other tunes in another video. So have fun with that.